I've grown milkweed for years because I love monarch butterflies. Milkweed is the exclusive food for monarchs, and other butterflies can enjoy the milkweed, but it is basically grown for supporting the life cycle of monarchs. But there are other things that are very, very interesting about milkweed, and today I'm going to share them with you. Hi, I'm Mary Bourne, traditional naturopath, and I love sharing natural remedies with people. Natural remedies have been around for hundreds, even thousands of years because they work, and they work on people and often pets too. So this is my stand of milkweed. This is a picture I took just the other day. So milkweed is in full bloom right now. And I have butterfly bushes nearby, which are also perennial, and they attract the butterflies, and I often see monarchs on them, but they don't actually need butterfly bushes, whereas they need milkweed. And if we were to get rid of all the milkweed, well, then we would have no monarch butterflies. So now if you have parsley and you've seen some caterpillars growing on, or growing, I don't know if that's the right word. Anyway, on your parsley, which I have seen and been kind of creeped out. Caterpillars aren't exactly what I consider friends, but they turn into friends. And so we have to tolerate them, you know. So these are swallowtail butterflies, and they actually come from the caterpillar that likes to live on parsley. So if you're okay with sharing your parsley with these creatures, then you will end up with some beautiful butterflies like these two. Now, according to Mother Earth Gardener, besides being a great wild plant for wildlife support for like monarchs, milkweeds have been used by humans as food and medicine, as textile material, and even for industrial purposes. So I'll leave a link in the description below for the full article, but I found some very interesting information while I was doing my research for milkweed. Native people, early settlers, and modern foragers alike have eaten milkweed as a cooked vegetable. Nearly every part is edible, but each must be harvested at the correct time. Otherwise, they can be toxic, and not deathly toxic, because who's going to eat a whole milkweed plant? Basically, it causes nausea, sometimes disorientation, that type of thing. But if you pick the tender, young, early shoots in spring, the unopened flower buds in midsummer, the firm green seed pods in late summer, and cook them in changes of water, follow directions, they can be a good addition to food. The flowers can be steeped in some sugar water and made into a syrup that I have heard is delicious over ice cream. They aren't my food of choice. They aren't even my medicine of choice. All parts of the plant contain toxic cardiac glycosides, which can cause the nausea, diarrhea, weakness, and confusion in small amounts. And sometimes everybody's individual. In some people, it might even cause a seizure or heart rhythm changes or respiratory paralysis and even death. So you definitely don't want to make a meal out of milkweed. It is not a food that you would plan a meal around. But medicinally, the sap, which looks very much like milk, and that's where it gets its name, it's sticky, white liquid that you can apply directly onto a wart, and it will help to get rid of the wart. Now, you don't want to apply it to all of your skin because these glycosides have a particular toxicity to the virus that causes the wart. The virus causes an excess amount of keratin, which is a hard protein, and that develops on the epidermis, or the top skin layer. And the extra keratin produces the rough, hard texture that we know as a wart. The sap applied to the wart and then covered with a bandage. You may have to do it a couple of times throughout, but I have heard that people have had great success. I personally have not used this. It has some interesting benefits and it has some interesting drawbacks. So it's really not a plant that I would be comfortable using as a medicine. However, if you have an infestation of armyworms, you may want to look into creating a solution with milkweed to kill off these harmful pests. I wish I had known about this and looked into it further when I had an armyweed infestation in my sassafras trees a few years back. I was able to take care of them through several applications of soap and soapy water with peppermint and tea tree oil added to it. I have a video of these sassafras trees, and I talk about the different leaves of the sassafras, and I'll link that in the description below. So there are numerous ways to get rid of pests in the garden, and soapy water is a pretty basic one. But if you are looking into pest control, you might actually do just a small patch of it to see how your plant reacts to it, and then then you're killing off just one little area if it happens to burn it or whatever, and you're not destroying the entire plant. Now, here's an interesting thing. Seed floss from milkweed proved to be a valuable tool during the 20th century. During World War II, the Japanese cut off the access to Java, so the US Navy needed to find an alternative to Javanese kopak, which is a plant tree cultivated for its buoyant seed and was used in life jackets. They found a homegrown solution in milkweed. Its seed floss is hollow and coated with a natural plant wax, which makes it waterproof and allows it to float. The federal government paid American school children 15 cents for every onion bag of unopened milkweed seed pods they collected. Each bag held about 600 to 800 pods, and 2 bags filled with the pods supplied enough seed to floss fill 1 life jacket. And the Navy made 1.2 million life jackets from milkweed floss. So the slogan, 2 bags save 1 life, that's where that comes from. So the floss harvested from 2 bags of milkweed pods would fill 1 life jacket. Now, milkweed floss was also used in flight suit material. The pods were sent to the Petoskey Fairgrounds in Michigan to be dried and processed. The floss actually helps absorb oil, and it has been used to help mop up oil spills in the ocean. So if you have an oil spill in your driveway, maybe you've been working on your car, your tractor leaks or whatever, instead of using kitty litter, gather up these milk seed pods and pluck out the floss and apply that and mop it up. And then you have a biodegradable source of material, and you have a clean driveway. So now, butterfly weed is a different species of milkweed. You can find this in various gardens. You can purchase the seed for it. It does not contain the milk that standard swamp type milkweed has, and it seems to be less toxic than the standard plant that we know as a milkweed. But butterfly weed is also known as pleurisy root, and it has been used in medicinal medicine for, or herbal medicine for years. So pleurisy root has many medicinal qualities, and it too forms the seed pod, but it's the root that is used in medicinal purposes to help with things like pleurisy. That's where it got its name, pleurisy root, but it also is known as a species of milkweed. But today, in today's world, we need to look at other options. We need to be aware of nature and what's around us and how we can use it and support it. So I believe medicine is all around us, and the only thing that keeps us from using it is the lack of knowledge. So please share these videos with your friends so that they can also have a free medicine that may be around them. Now, as I said, milkweed is not my choice of medicine, but pleurisy root, I may consider using that for a lung support if the need was there and I was not able to get some of my Nature Sunshine products that I rely on. So learning how plants can help us is one of the reasons for these videos, this Health to Home series. And I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and share these videos with other people. So learn what you can about getting healthy. I have many videos on my channel. I've been doing this for years, and I do this particular one weekly. I also have added recently Gardening with Granny, which talks about the knowledge that plants can share and the fun of gardening, and how gardening has changed for me through the years. I'm approaching 80, and for elder people, kneeling down and planting 100 flats of annuals is not an option anymore. And that is what I used to do in my 40s. I felt very comfortable planting that many plants. Absolutely loved every minute of it. Loved even weeding the areas for growing plants. But now my gardens look a little different, and so I share those with you in my Gardening with Granny. So I hope that you're finding nooks and crannies to grow food everywhere. In this day and age, finding food in other sources than your grocery store may be something you will need to look into, and actually learning how to store food and how to preserve it. So I want to thank you for taking the time to view these videos, and please share them with your friends and relatives. Food is our best medicine, but it can also be our downfall. So be sure you're choosing nutritionally dense food that contributes to good health. And the purpose of these videos is to help you understand that herbs and food help our body get into balance, and that disease occurs when the body is out of balance. If you're a gardener, you understand that if you have a very weak plant, it's going to be more susceptible to disease than a very healthy plant that can ward off disease. So natural medicine works with imbalances, whether they are emotional or physical, and many times imbalances are due to a lack of knowledge. So people need to know about these videos. So I love it when people share them and support their family's health through them. So please like, share, comment. I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe, and I hope that this video has given you some interesting facts about milkweed, maybe that you're growing some in your yard somewhere. Get control of your health by choosing natural foods and medicines, and be thankful for all the joy around you. And until next time, this is Dr. Mary for the Health of It.